Hey friends, Blobby back again with another video. I hope you're all doing well. Currently, I'm working on closing out the creepypasta iceberg, but that video is looking to be pretty long, so it's going to take a little while. For now, I want to look at some gamers that have done horrible things, either because of something that's occurred in the game or surrounding the game as a whole. I should preface this video by saying it's not the fault of the game that made these people do these things. Millions of people play video games and don't commit horrible acts or harm others. These people are already bad people and probably have done it anyway regardless of gaming. Content warning coming into this video. Let's just get into this.
The community is in utter disbelief after 4 people were found murdered inside this house yesterday. We are live on Castlemore Avenue in Markham, where we are learning more about the 4 victims.
This is the face of a killer. David Katz shows zero emotion as he plays in a tense tournament against other professional gamers.
I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore.
Starting us off in this video, we have Casey Viner. You most likely have heard of this situation, and I wouldn't exactly call Casey evil. I would say there are people that are in this situation that are evil. I would just say Casey himself is very stupid and immature. Casey was a 19-year-old playing a $1.50 wager match on Call of Duty World War II, where he would argue with another person on his team named Shane Gaskill over friendly fire that had left them to lose the match and the wager of $1.50. Casey would threaten to swat Shane, leading Shane to give an old address of his to Casey. Casey would ask another person who he had seen on Twitter named Tyler Beres to make a fake 911 call, where he had claimed to police that he was holding his family hostage after killing his father. Tyler is better known as Swatistic, a 25-year-old homeless man in Los Angeles with a criminal record of domestic violence, but already served 16 months in LA County Jail for making false bomb threats against KBC-TV, an elementary school in LA, and a middle school in Granada Hills. What an amazing guy. He was also wanted by police in Panama City for 30 other bomb threats, including one to a high school, as well as fraud charges and mischief charges in Canada. Unfortunately, this address that Shane has given was occupied by Andrew Finch, who had no knowledge of either of the other 2 people, nor did he play Call of Duty games in general. The police who would come to the call would not be SWAT team members, but regular police untrained for tactical or hostage situations. Finch would be fatally shot as he was exiting his home by a police officer who initially claimed that he thought Finch had a gun, before testifying that he didn't see a weapon and had shot him based on the hand movements. Following the death, Tyler would make an appearance on a popular YouTube news channel called Drama Alert, where he would speak having zero compassion or remorse for his swattings. He would also go on Twitter and say, "I didn't get anyone killed because I didn't discharge a weapon, and being a SWAT member isn't my profession." Tyler would plead guilty to involuntary manslaughter as well as many of the other charges he already had against him, leaving him to be sentenced to 20 years in federal prison as of 2019. Casey would be sentenced to 15 months in prison and 2 years supervised release. Shane would be sentenced to 18 months in prison, with the only good thing about this situation being the $5 million settlement for the Finch family following Andrew's death. After breaking down the settlement, the family would receive roughly $3.2 million, but I'd imagine they would much rather have Andrew than the money.
He's very focused when he plays.
You are not going to see much emotion from our guy Brett. This dude is a man David Katz keeps to himself. He's a man of business. He's not here for the experience and to go out, this, that, and the third. He's not here to make friends.
David Katz. On August 26, 2018 in Jacksonville, Florida, the GLHF Game Bar, which was a video game venue in Jacksonville Landing Indoor Marketplace, would host a Madden NFL 2019 gaming tournament, with roughly 140 participants and viewers. One of these players being David Katz, who would lose a match and seemingly leave the venue with a stone-cold expression without shaking the winner's hand. He would soon return with a handgun, shooting 12 shots, killing 2 people and injuring 10 others before shooting himself. The announcer would say that he was interviewing the first victim before he was fatally shot, saying that he is intentionally targeted before David would shoot indiscriminately. It was said that David previously had a long history of mental illnesses and had been prescribed antipsychotic medication. He had also been involuntarily committed to mental hospital on multiple occasions. Rest in peace to the 2 people that unfortunately passed by one person's extreme rage, Elijah Clayton and Taylor Robinson. I hope they're in a better place now.
He is now charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. We want to warn you that some of the details in this story may be disturbing to some of our viewers. City News has obtained screenshots of messages the suspect posted online after he allegedly committed these crimes.
Menhaz Zaman. On July 28, 2019, York Regional Police officers were called to a house southwest of Major Mackenzie Drive East and Markham Road with a report of multiple people fatally injured. Menhaz would answer the door and would be taken into custody after the officers found Firoza Begum, Moniruz Zaman, Melissa Zaman, and Montez Zaman all passed away inside of the home. The means of the deaths were the farthest thing from peaceful. He used a crowbar to attack them when they were off guard before using a knife to end their lives. Menhaz would go online after the murders and post details in a Discord chat saying how he had murdered them. He would send a photo of him after he had showered with the knife covered in blood. Menhaz said he had killed his family because they were about to find out that he lied for years about going to university to become an engineer. Menhaz was sentenced to life with no chance of parole for 40 years. I hope that his family are able to rest in peace.
If it happened, it happened. I went to one of the entryways and pulled the shotgun out.
Evan Ramsey. I want to say that Evan is more of a case of being failed by the system than being inherently evil as a human. Evan had a rough upbringing, his father being sent to prison when he was 7, and his mother becoming an alcoholic a bit after. He and his siblings would be sent to foster homes. In at least one of these homes, Evan would be abused in a disgusting manner. He would suffer from depression at the young age of 10 and would be contemplating suicide at the age of 11. Evan would go to Bethel Regional High School in Bethel, Alaska, where he would be constantly picked on and harassed by his classmates because he wasn't as smart as the other students. This would lead Evan to becoming much more unhappy about his life, and he wouldn't receive the help that he desperately needed at this time. But bullying happens to many others, and they wouldn't go on to harm innocent people. Evan would state on Extra Minutes of 60 Minutes Australia that if he didn't have easy access to a firearm, he wouldn't have done this attack in the first place. 2 weeks after his father was paroled on February 19, 1997, Evan would enter his school with a pump shotgun that he had taken from his foster mother's home. He would shoot and kill 15-year-old Josh Palacios and kill his principal, Ron Edward, before injuring 2 others. When he turned the shotgun on himself, he just couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger. He would surrender when the police would arrive on the scene, and he would be swiftly arrested. The situation becomes even more wild for me because over 20 people knew about Evan's plan to attack the school, with 2 of them even helping him, one teaching him how to use a shotgun and the other telling him how he had become infamous from it. Another report said a student had brought a camera to school on the day of his attack. I just don't understand how you can hear about someone planning to do an attack like this and not say anything at all. It's just unbelievable that this whole situation could have been avoided had Evan received help in the first place, had the gun been locked away or put somewhere where he couldn't access it, or any of the 20 people that knew about it had said anything. Evan's father would tell the press that he believed because Evan played Doom frequently, it was an imitation of the game during his attack. Evan would also do an interview with Anderson Cooper titled In the Mind of the Killer, where he also blamed Doom for his attack. Evan would be sentenced to 210 years in prison before it was reduced to 2 99-year prison sentences. Rest in peace to Josh Palacios. Having his life taken away at such a young age is truly heartbreaking. He was said by his friends to be a very hard-working basketball player who was an amazing teammate and friend, a true warrior until the end. Rest in peace to Ron Edwards. He was remembered by his family as a loving father that cared about everyone and just wanted the best for the children he educated.